getting connected with Google Meet. I absolutely love Google Meet because I find it to be really user friendly and it works seamlessly with Google Classroom. And we're going to talk about all that today. So let me get started. If you don't know who I am, my name is Trisha Fontenot. I am the instructional technology person for the school district, and I'm also the webmaster and social media manager here as well. If at any time you have any questions, please feel free to chat those questions in the chat box, or you can simply unmute yourself and begin asking away. And we'll go over all those things too. So let's get started. This is what I am hoping that you learn today after our Google Meet training. I want you to be able to identify Google Meet features and, basically know how to use that interface. Also, how to identify ways to maintain security in Google Meet, to connect with your students through Google Meet, and using Google Meet within Google Classroom. So those are my objectives for today. I hope by the end of this training, you will know how to do those 4 things, right? So let me talk about joining a Meet. So there are 2 ways to join a Meet. The first is right within Google Classroom. I invited some of you to a Google Classroom that I created. Basically, if you signed in the last hour and a half, you weren't added to that classroom, so I need to go and do that. But when you have a Google Classroom set up, you can easily add people to or meet with people within that Google Classroom. So again, meet.google.com will give you a Google Meet, and so will going to your Google Classroom. So let me go over those 2 ways. Is everybody seeing my beautiful landscape here on the screen?
Nope.
You're not. What are you seeing?
Everybody's window.
So no one is seeing any of the slide deck right now? Oh, all right. Well, then let me get to presenting. All right. So let me go ahead and present this window and share. All right. So here we go. Let's try this again. Is everybody seeing the 2 ways to join a Google Meet? Everybody seeing that screen? Perfect.
Yeah, it just came up.
So just to let you know, you can join a Meet by going to meet.google.com or right from within the Google Classroom. Just to talk a little bit about that interface, when you do either of those 2, you're going to see this meeting nickname here. You're also going to see a join now button. Click here to join now. A present button. And so what you will want to do is click join now when you get that screen. Now, you do have the ability before you even join a meeting to turn your microphone off and turn your video off. So let's try to see if you can see me going into a Meet right now just by going to meet.google.com. Can everybody see my landscape now? And now you should see
Yes.
join or start a meeting. All right, so it's that easy. I went to meet.google.com, join or start a meeting. I'm going to enter the nickname here, and I'm going to just put test, right? And I'm going to click continue. So as you can see, this is what happens when you start a Google Meet. And it doesn't matter if you're starting it from within your in your classroom or if you just go to meet.google.com. Let me just sign in here. You'll see the screen that I just showed you on my slide deck, and it says camera is starting. And you see the join now and the present, right? I'm going to turn my microphone off right here. Can you still hear me, guys? Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm going to turn my video off here. So it says your camera is off, your microphone is off, but I can still join a meeting. Once I do that, you'll see the nickname here. This is the meeting nickname. And then you can add others to that meeting. All right. Remember, I said that I would invite you all to a meeting. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to ask Suzanne. I have Suzanne here. And so I'm going to send this joining information to Suzanne and ask her to join my Google Meet that I just set up. And this is just to show you that, show you what I'm seeing, number one. And number two, to show you how easy it is to just add people on the fly. So I'm going to go ahead and add Suzanne Ryder. I talked to her ahead of time and asked her if she would be in on this. And then I'm going to just click send email. So she's going to get an email letting her know that we are meeting. Okay. So once she gets that email, then she's going to pop right in on our meet. Let me just go ahead and text her to let her know. I don't know if she's hearing me right now.
Yes, ma'am. I hear you.
Okay, perfect. Sue, can you check your email and join the meeting link I just sent you? I want to, while she's doing that, I do want to call your attention to a few things. Right here, you see the meeting nickname. It's called the meeting nickname. That's what Google Meet calls it. So as you can see, I named this one Test. If you are creating or joining a meet within Google Meet, within Google Classroom, then it's going to nickname it for you. All right, you're not going to have the option to name it. It's just going to select the nickname for you. But and I'll show you the classroom feature in a bit. I'm just waiting for Suzanne to pop in here. Also, again, as you can see, just moving along the interface, right here, you can see that I have my microphone that is turned off on this particular meeting. That's just because I don't want to have feedback. This is where if you would call in by phone, and then my video, if I wanted to turn my video on, I could do that right now. And you could see, hey. All right. I do want to show you also that you can turn on captions. So if I were talking to you and I had captions on, then at the bottom of the screen, you would see those, you would see that captioning. So that's Suzanne. Suzanne, say hey.
Hi.
All right.
I have too many mics on. Let me turn something down.
Okay, so while I have Suzanne on, I want to show you a few other things. You can just mute yourself, Sue.
Well, I am muted in the first meeting.
Oh, you have to mute in the second. You're muted in the first. Yeah, just mute in the second, down at the bottom.
It's slow coming up.
All right, so basically, I want to show you this panel here. You have a people panel where if I chose to add someone else, I'm going to go ahead and mute you, Sue. There we go. All right, so you have a people panel here, and you also have a chat panel. I want to call your attention to the fact that you can actually add people right here also. So if you're in a meet and you realize that you forgot to add someone to that Google Meet, you could just click here. Or let's say you're in a meet with a parent and the parent says, hey, can you add my husband? He would like to be in on this meeting. You can do that right here from the People tab. All right. We also have a chat tab right on the side. So if you click on the chat tab and you click on a message down here, you can send that message to everyone. Now, unlike Zoom, you cannot send it to particular people. You can't message privately. And really, this is a feature that's a good feature because you don't want kids to be able to send messages to each other, right? You want them to know that if you put a message in here, everyone is going to see that message, right? And you as the host, of course, would see it. And then you can do all kind of things there. But I'm going to go back to the People tab. And I want to show you that if you click on somebody or click on the arrow next to their name, it opens up a little box here. So you can do a few things. You can pin that person to the screen. So if I had numerous people in this meet, like I do in my first meet that I set up, I could pin whomever I give the floor to. So if you have your students speaking and the student that is speaking, you want that person to show, you could just pin that person's, you can click on this pin and that person would be pinned to the big screen in the middle. You also can mute or unmute someone right here. Or you could, let's say you have a student who is not following the rules, not using their digital etiquette skills, you could simply remove them from that meeting. So that's an option as well. So again, really the participants tab, and that's what I'm going to call this, because it shows all of your participants here. Very straightforward. It gives your nickname here. You have the ability to close it out here. It shows your people here in this tab. And if I have 50 people, they're all going to be here underneath. It has the chat tab here. So just know that that is there and that is available to you. When you are done with a meet, guys, you can just simply X out the browser and your meet is done, okay? Now, while I'm talking about meeting, I'm going to tell you that before you exit a meet, if you're meeting with your students, you need to ensure that every single student is out of that meeting before you get out of the meeting. So you never want to end a meeting with your students still in that meeting. You never want to do that. So again, all you would have to do is click on the participant, the People tab, click here, and remove from meeting. All right. So let's see. I have 4 chats going on here. Could you set up a Google form and place the link in the chat for students to complete a formative check? Yes. You can send anything through that chat box. All right. So if it's a link, let me go ahead and grab let me see if I have a form here. I actually do have a form that I'm going to send right here through that. Hold on for 1 second. I'm going to grab that form. All right. So this is the training evaluation survey that I will want you to fill out after this is done. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the link here, shorten that URL and copy it. And I'm going to paste it here and send you the link. So now you all have the link to the form, right? Okay, so there's a few other things within Meet that I want to go over. So let's see here. All right, so now we're going to talk about, remember we talked about joining in Google, in meet.google.com, right? Remember I talked about those 2 ways within Google Classroom or meet.google.com. I just showed you how to go through meet.google.com. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like on the teacher side whenever you go to Meet through your Classroom, Google Classroom, okay? So whenever you log on to your Classroom, and I'm going to do that here, classroom.google.com, and I'm going to go to my classroom that I just created, which is this Google Meet training. Just kind of opening that up here. It's taking a minute, probably because I have 50 million tabs open, like David said. Not in this particular window, but everywhere else. All right, so you have your Google Meet here. Let's say you you create a class and you don't have this Meet here. Let me show you where you can find that. This is the settings button within Google Classroom. If you click on that settings button and you go down, you'll see Meet right here. All you have to do, it's going to have something that says generate a meeting link. You would just click that and it's going to generate that meeting link for you. If you wanted to, you don't have to keep the same meeting link if you're really concerned about, privacy or whatnot. If you feel like a student, if let's say you have all your students in your class, okay, and you left you thought that everybody was out of the Meet, but then you kind of were given that a second thought. Hey, maybe I left one of the kids in the Meet. I don't want them to be able to join before I can join. So what you would do is you could just go in here and click on reset to reset that meeting link. It's going to then appear right here. The new link will appear right here. So then you can make absolutely certain that those students did not have the opportunity to join without you in there. But again, remember I said one of the things that I wanted to make sure that you knew before you left this training was about security. Okay, we definitely do not want students to have the ability to participate in a Google Meet without you being present. So definitely you would, number one, never leave the meeting with students still in the meeting. Number two, if you are concerned about the possibility that maybe they could get in somehow because maybe you didn't get everybody out, this is what you would do. Go to settings, go down here and click reset. And then that would reset this link, right? So, but again, just make it a practice never to leave the room without kids, with kids in the room, just like you would do in your classroom. Don't leave the room with kids in the room. There's another place where the meeting link is published, and that's right here. So if you go to the classwork tab in Google Classroom, you can meet there too. And like I said, if I clicked on this, it would open up another Meet tab. And then I would just click here. It says, these people are in this call and this call is being recorded and join now. So I could do that. I'm going to go ahead and click off of that and go back to the meeting presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to chat those in the chat box. I hope you know how easy this will be for parents. I feel like when you introduce other platforms outside, because we're asking them to use Google Classroom and Google Forms and Google Docs and Google Sheets maybe, this just kind of, just seamlessly integrates with that G Suite. This is part of the G Suite, so of course it would. I think it just makes it a lot easier for parents to use than having to, rely on a Zoom link and then going into the classroom. So they can already be right in the classroom and just meet with you. And it just makes it a lot easier. Also, we talked about that nickname, right? Basically, when you log in on the bottom, you'll see that test. If you click here, that's where you're going to get your joining information, your details, attachments. Now, let me talk a bit about attachments. If you have things that you've attached to the calendar for that particular meeting, if you have an attachment, then it'll show up there. So you can share an attachment right within Google Meet with your students through that attachments tab. Again, if you want an attachment to be visible, you must put it in the Google Calendar for that particular invite. I just have a little note here. This is kind of like a reminder to me because this is how important this is. Where you see I can refresh this to get another nickname within Google Classroom, or just by going to meet.google.com and opening up a whole nother Meet, okay? So each time you open another Meet by going to meet.google.com, that's going to give you the opportunity to create another nickname. Let's talk about the interface for a moment. Unlike Zoom, Google Meet opens in a browser window. So I'm going to give you just a little word of advice. You know how when you open up a window, and let's say I have this Google Meet tab right here, right? I would want to grab this tab and separate it out from the rest of my tabs and put it off to the side. That way you can always see your participants, right? I see Suzanne left, so I'm going to X out of this. But again, if your Google Meet is, you know, within a tab of all the other things, you want to grab that and drag it over the side so you can see. So in other words, you have two windows going on at the same time. One in which your Google Meet is there, and the other one where your content is there. Anybody have questions about that? I see Sue had to go. I knew she had to go at 1:30. So that's perfectly fine. So right now, just to let you know, I am sharing when I'm presenting. You know how it says present now? We're going to talk more about that. You have the ability to present your whole entire screen, or you can just present a window. So right now, I'm presenting a window. Why? Because I don't want you to see all of you guys. I just want you to see what I'm actually presenting. And then that way I can keep the other tab off to the side. And so remember, I told you pull that tab out and you'll have that out to the side. So we already talked about the people tab and the chat tab. So I'm not going to go over that any longer. Just kind of going through the interface. I talked about that. Unlike Zoom, Google Meet opens up in a browser window. So it's not going to sit on top of your presentation. You will have to pull it off to the side in its own separate window. If you don't do that, when you click share screen and present your screen, if you're sharing your entire screen, you won't see your participants. Okay, so that's going to be important that you do that. But looking at the Google Meet interface, you can see to the left, it starts with the Meet nickname. Then, of course, your microphone. If you're on a telephone there, you can turn off your mic, turn on and off your video. You have those captions there where it can, this is, again, very good for hearing impaired students. To present your screen, you would click on Present Now, and then you have more options. And we're going to discuss that more options, okay? We're going to discuss that in just a second. I went over all this, so now we go into more options. So in the More Options tab, that's where you have the ability to record a meeting. So as you can see here at the top, when I click More Options, this is what I see, all right? Record a meeting, that's at the very top. This meeting is being recorded, All right. Once it's done recording, what I love about Google Meet is it saves it right there in your Google Drive for you. So it saves that meeting or that meet right within your Google Drive. So it doesn't require that you go and find it on your computer, pull it in your drive. It doesn't take space on your machine, right, on your hard drive. It goes right into your Google Drive. Love that. You can change the way your participants look, okay? So right now I have it to where you guys are all tiled, but I could definitely change that around to where all your videos are to the left or all of them are to the right. So you have some options there. Best way to learn about this layout is to invite a few friends to a Google Meet and look at the different options and see what works best for you. I will tell you that Google Meet can be done on an iPhone, iPad, Android, all of those things. So just like Zoom, you can do that on iPhone, Android, all that. You have a full screen option. We talked about captions. If you hit this settings button, that's going to give you the ability to change audio and video options. So, and I'll show you that in just a second. The phone is for if you use a call in. This rectangular area is all of your help menu. You know where the present now is. And again, to get this fly out, the 3 little dots that you see at the bottom right of this little panel here, that's where you click for these options that you see above. All right, so it's going to be at the bottom right of your Google tab. Bear with me for a little while longer. We're almost done. If you do turn on captions, you can do it in the full screen mode, but you can also do it down below here as well. I mean, in the more options panel or down below. And when you do that, when you start speaking, you'll see that transcript is being just, you know, going with your voice right underneath. So you'll see a black box with white type. And as you speak, the words are going to appear at the bottom there in that black bar right here. Also, like I said, with the settings, audio and video, the audio, it's your microphone and speakers. Video, what I really like about this is right now I'm in high definition. I'm sending in high definition and I'm receiving in high definition, high resolution rate or high definition. But you can even arrow down and select 320. I know some of these kids are going to be on a Khajiit hotspot, and they have a limit on what they can have each day, right? They have a limit on how much they can use each day. So if you arrow down and select 320, I think is the other option, your video won't be as good, but it's going to take up less of those megabytes or whatever they're using, however much it's using. It's gonna bring that down. So that's in more options. We talked about these phone settings. I basically just put this together because I'm going to include that as a guide on our website in the instructional technology part of our website. So I really talked about these, but I'm just going through, for the purposes of you seeing this presentation. Again, when you hit that present now screen, you're going to have this little option box at the top where it says, okay, basically, what do you want to present? Do you want to present your entire screen, just a window, or just a Chrome tab? I like to present my entire screen for certain things for this presentation because I'm showing you something. I chose a window, right? And I pulled my Meet window off to the side. And that's what I would suggest you do with your students, because you definitely want to be able to see their faces, see their video, and see what they're doing, right? So anyway, that's just some of the other options that you have. Once you click on that option, whatever option you choose, if you say present entire screen, then just make sure that you're clicking on that screen, that little box, okay? Make sure that you select it before you hit share. And if you are just presenting a window, then it's going to say, okay, which window do you want to present? So it's going to give you all of the windows that you have open. And then you would select a window that you wanted to share and then click share. Now, if you wanted to present a Chrome tab only, so let's say that you're just wanting to present on a specific, one specific tab, then you would just click on Chrome tab and you would select one of the tabs that's open that you would want to present from. Guys, that's basically the gist of Google Meet. If you have any questions, please feel free to chat those in the chat box. Yes, absolutely, Jackie. Great question. You can set up two screens, one to share your screen and the other to view the students. That is absolutely a possibility and a great idea, great thing to do. The max number of people that can attend a Meet is 250. So 250 people can be in a Meet at the same time. Again, I think I sent you the link to the evaluation. Please, please, please fill out that evaluation. Also, please chat your name in the chat box as you want it to appear on your certificate, so I can send you a certificate with the correct name on it. So if you don't mind, just navigate over to that chat box, type in your name, hit the send button. That's that little arrow, kind of looks like a little flying airplane, and let me know who you are. And by the way, when I hit end for this, when I hit end, what's going to happen is that it's going to not only give me a recording, right, within my Google Drive, but also it's going to have a chat transcript. So everything that's in the chat here, it's going to come to me in a little transcript, so to speak. If you have any questions, you can find me at tfontenot3@slpsb.org. tfontenot3@slpsb.org. Any other questions before I stop the recording? So I'm going to stop sharing right now. And then I'm going to go on and stop recording.